Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the Pioneer Valley Regional School District School Committee meeting. It is Thursday, November 20th, and I am calling, I'm just getting a text message from Michelle, I think, someone. It's not coming through. Calling the meeting to order, sorry, at 6:04. And before we get started, I just want to introduce, we have a new member with us seated at the table. Sharon Fontaine is back from Leiden. She used to be on the school committee. She has rejoined. So welcome, Sharon. We are so glad for you to join us. We also have with us tonight Diana Noble, who is sitting in for Brian Snell, who's unable to be here, as our Warwick representative. Okay, all right. So we will start with citizens' comments.
Do we need to? We should probably do roll call.
Oh,
attendance.
roll call, right, roll call attendance. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And also, with that being said, this meeting is also being recorded and streamed, can be found on BNC TV, online, and also on YouTube. Anne is not with us tonight to take minutes, so it is helpful for her if we say our name, like when we get to the voting, and we have to do roll call vote anyways because Melissa is here. So to make it simple, I'm just going to go right down the list and just call our names so that when we get to the voting. But for roll call, we will need you to state your name and just say present. Sharon, we can start with you. Just Sharon Fontaine, present.
Sharon Fontaine, Leiden.
Stephanie Arroyo, present.
Raina Dasty, present.
Gretchen Kelton, present.
Stephen Martin, present.
Melissa Osborne, present. And Melissa Gary, present. Okay, thank you. Okay, and now we can get to citizens' comments. Okay, seeing none. Approval of minutes. Patricia, did you have some?
Yep.
I saw some scribbles.
These are the 10/16/25 minutes, and in section number 2, under citizens' comments, fourth line, the parent's name is Laura Fries, spelled F-R-I-E-S. Lines 2 and 4, Josh Neal, the spelling is N-E-I-L.
Just confirming that at the October meeting, our Director of Finance and Operations is Taffy Bassett Fox. Jordan Burns was not present. I will accept a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay. Sharon?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Sharon, yes. Stephanie?
Yes.
Raina?
Yes.
Gretchen?
Abstain.
Stephen?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
And Melissa, Gary, yes. Okay, thank you very much. All right, let's get to the reports. So I have two very brief reports. Last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Patricia and myself and Raina headed down to MASC, MASS for the joint conference for the school committee members and superintendents, in which we presented. Taffy joined us for the one day to present. It was a wonderful presentation. Our topic was how to make school committee meetings shorter, more efficient, and professional. We shared our memo process. We shared our calendar process. There was a lot of engagement and a lot of school committees reaching out to us to say, how do you do it? How do you have a meeting in under 2 hours? Is that even possible? And so it was a great success. The other thing, the other workshop that we went to is why do rural schools matter? And there was a lot of discussion about how towns and other rural schools can participate with their legislators in getting fully funded line items like transportation, within the Chapter 70 funding. And so I'm going to be sending out an email to the committee on ways that we can actually write to our legislators. It's just a template that we can edit, or you can just keep it yourself, or keep it as it is, and email it to our legislators for advocacy for small rural school districts. So that is what I have.
Thank you. And I'll do a little show and tell. This is the handout. We'll send it around from the, so we'll send it over this way and then pass it back. All right. My report tonight is not by the numbers, but by the pictures, if folks would like to turn over there. Okay, picture number 1. I see some smiles from our Bernardston colleagues. This is senior Jacobia Tominski, who is this year's recipient of the Superintendent's Excellence Award. And this is a really important award. Chair, if it's okay, I'd like to read the bio.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So Jacobia is a Bernardston resident. She is also the daughter of a pioneer teacher, Ms. Danica Tominski. I am delighted to announce that Jacobia Tominski is the recipient of the Superintendent's Excellence Award for 2025-26. This award recognizes outstanding achievement in academics, leadership, and school activities. Jacobia represents the very best of our small, rural, and tight-knit communities. She achieves at the highest levels academically. She excels in athletic and cultural endeavors. And perhaps most importantly, she has a moral compass and natural leadership qualities that have earned her universal respect among her peers. As a 3-sport varsity athlete, class officer, saxophonist, performer in both community theater and school plays and musicals, and with a sky-high grade point average, Jacobia has the resume of the classically high-achieving high school student. What distinguishes her for me is her calm and determined social presence. There are leaders who emerge through force of personality and perhaps the volume of their rhetoric. Jacobia's leadership has a different character. It has emerged from the consistency of her actions as an ethical member of our school community, in particular through her willingness to make brave decisions even when difficult. While she has held school offices that have given her positional authority, I believe that her real authority springs from the respect and trust she has earned from her classmates. Jacobia hopes to study neuroscience in order to advance the recovery of people who have sustained traumatic brain injuries while serving in our country's armed forces. I now have goosebumps. Jacobia's desire to study neuroscience for this specific purpose is confirmation of what pioneer faculty and administration all know. Jacobia Tominski is a talented and driven young person who will take full advantage of every opportunity given to her. Please join me in congratulating PVRS senior Jacobia Tominski, recipient of the 2025-26 Superintendent's Excellence Award for the Pioneer Valley Regional School District.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Number 4. Here's I was going to do it by the numbers.
By the pictures is great.
By the pictures. That's our smoker we bought about 2 years ago. And those are the turkey breasts that people here enjoyed today, and 35 seniors from the Northfield Senior Center enjoyed. Nice. Our students put on a musical performance and set up the cafeteria. Taffy and I were, and Principal Scanlon Amy were delighted to be able to attend. It was a great event. The sign, and here are our friends from Hale Sign. It was finally installed. Thank you to Director of Facilities Gretchen Licata for installing a really great solar light. I don't know if anyone has noticed it, but it's far superior to what we had before. Okay, a little technical difficulty with one of the years. On the sign, it's getting fixed, but we hope that this is, we hope that people feel the respect that we intend with having an updated, modern, and attractive sign for both the school and our incredible student athletes. Oh, I'm going to click here. This is the current edition of the Teaching and Learning newsletter. And as we think about, our core purpose is always safety, But our core purpose is developing young people. Zevi Steinitz, Director of Teaching and Learning, is doing a really nice job sending out a periodic newsletter for all staff. She's bringing up interesting topics. She's providing resources. She's sharing what's happening around the district. This is a picture of kids in Bridges mathematics. You've heard lots about Bridges accountable talk. There's a lot in this about discussion strategies, links to places like Project Zero at Harvard. So I just wanted school committee and our community to see the wonderful work taking place there. Oh, this is a picture of the senior luncheon, but this is a last year picture. Miss Brown, Miss Amy Brown, we need to give a shout out. She is the prime organizer here at Pioneer. She kindly sent me some pictures of today's luncheon, but I didn't have time to check to make sure all the kids have permissions. So for today we have a, Okay, here's the slideshow from last week. We'll put these slides in the packet, and the links are live, but we'll just do a few of the slides. It was very well received, and you can see there's a QR code on the front. We put the QR code on the handout. Here's a little snippet. Early this week, back in the office, I got an email from my counterpart in Northampton saying, hey, can I see that school committee annual calendar? I'm like, yeah, sure, here you go, and here's a link to the slideshow. And the response was, yeah, my mayor went. She's been talking to me about it. And Melissa did a fabulous job. Taffy's not. She just opened it up with energy and precision and an invitation for people to talk to each other. And the room was buzzing, clearly, standing room only in the room. Clearly, it met a need for people. And of course, as always, there are the pictures of our delightful students. So I talked to this student today. I told him, you're in my slideshow. So I told him I'd get him a copy of
Doppelganger.
Yeah.
Somewhere else in the state.
Jen Comiskey, you're in the room, correct? Where is she? Over there. Yeah, there's as Melissa said, I'll just say briefly, we shared the annual calendar because that's our primary building block, and then we go to our planning calendar, and then we use our memos. We've made so many upgrades to how you get the packet, except weeks like this week where I'm late, and then our slideshows. So that was it really was well received by people. Okay, BES sitting in the room with us tonight. BES has a tradition of holding a Veterans Day all-school assembly and honoring members of our community who have served in the armed forces. I'm going to show you just a portion of this, and we sent this to the Northfield VFW as well. And BES honored 50 service members with that presentation. Thank you, BES, and thank you, Principal Burstein, for organizing and putting that together. This is, let's see if I can make it a little bigger. This is the NES food drive. For folks who don't know, NES holds an annual food drive at this time of the year, and they make a human chain, and members of our community participate, including a number of seniors who have such deep ties with NES students, and they literally move the food can by can, person to person, from the NES building down the road, across the street. My daughter happened to be driving down Main Street, and she texts me, "OMG, the NES food drive is so cute!" exclamation mark. And this year, they tripled the number of food items to a total of 1,554 food items for the Northfield Food Pantry, which does such wonderful work in our community. Thank you, Northfield Elementary School, for being such a contributing member of this community. And this, again, with veterans, not sure if folks have seen, but outside the Pioneer Auditorium here, there's a wooden plaque, and it has not been updated, it appears, since 1967, honoring members of the Pioneer community who have died during combat. PVRS woodshop teacher Joshua Friend has reached out to the local veterans community. His students would like to update the plaque. So we are working with the veterans community to ensure that we have the names, all of the necessary names, and the plaque will be updated. And I'm sure we will have some type of ceremony to when that is done. And then we have a little video here. Who's that? Well, don't you know, you've heard about the, Renee, I was trying to get a nice, look, your eyes aren't closed. Well, this is just wonderful. We've talked to you about this, I think even last. The Playful Learning Institute, this is our third year participating in it, and the purpose is to help educators infuse even more joyful, playful learning activities into the academic program. And I think we announced that DESE wanted to do some of their videotaping here. And so they've recently uploaded, I'll just click, to their Playful Institute page, some new videos. And, So
I feel like it really helps us set sail to great storytelling and benefits them in later grades.
I'll just click. So Jen Comiskey, who's around the corner, they're both Jen. Both Jen and Renee Keir are featured in 3 of the videos, no less than 3 videos that were created with professional videographers. So congratulations to them, and congratulations to everybody participating in this multi-year work to ensure even better opportunities for our students. Yeah, really nice, really nice. And that's it for me. That's my report.
Thank you. That was a really nice report.
Oh, thank you.
It was
Yeah.
a very nice report.
I felt really good. Okay. All right. Director of Finance and Operations.
Well, I am more than happy to report that the E&D report has been filed with DESE. I'm very happy about that.
There's a question.
What's the balance of our E&D right now?
Oh, boy. I would have to look that up for you.
Sorry, Michelle Druso would like to join, so I'm going to send her an email.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because my
Yep, got it.
text is not going through.
You are fine. The district year-end report has also been filed, and I'm very happy about both of those things. We are starting with budget planning for FY27. The planning calendar has been set, and our first budget subcommittee meeting is going to be Monday, November 24th. It'll be held here in the library. We've received rural aid money. We received $262,712. Unfortunately, that's about $100,000 less than last year, which is a huge hit. To give some, rural aid had been increasing in years past. In FY21, we got about $123,000. FY25, we got $362,000. So $100,000 is not great and not a great sign, I don't think. Expenditure report. Let's see, there are some negative balances, and I've got budget transfers for this meeting, so some of those will be addressed through the transfers. Our revenue report, we've got 22.5% of the budgeted revenue has come in so far. The budget transfer report is in your packet. I was not going to go through every single one since there are quite a bit. But I did want to point out that the majority of them are non-salary line cuts that were made to offset the health insurance increase that happened mid-year. And there is a motion in here to accept those, not sure if you want to do that after.
Yeah, we can do that after.
You can do that after, okay. And then our lunch report, we have an operating loss of $2,498. I am not concerned about that at all. We had a $15,000 encumbrance, $5,000 per school, and that's for custodial services, custodians who perform work for our food service. It's a one-time charge, if you will. So we have an operating loss of $14,273, and again, that's really because of that $15,000.
Okay, so for the budget transfers, yep,
I have some questions on
Sure.
the grants quarterly report.
yep. Let's do the vote for the budget transfers, and then we'll do the grants.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome, Sharon.
She's eager.
Yeah. So the budget transfers are the orange sheet for those of you.
No, that's
Oh,
that's
purple.
revenue.
Sorry, I have the wrong. I'm looking at the wrong. Purple. Here we go. There we go. Okay. I will accept a motion to approve the budget transfer total in the amount of $53,082.51.
So moved?
Seconded.
Okay, and any questions? Okay, so let's go through the line. Sharon,
Sharon Fontaine, yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Raina,
Raina Daster, yes.
Gretchen,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Melissa? Michelle? Michelle, you're on mute. Okay. And Melissa Gary, yes. Okay. All right. Now we can get to the grants section.
Yes.
You're welcome.
So included in your packet was a grants approval memo, and according to our school committee policy, school committee needs to approve the acceptance of grants that we receive annually, and any grants that come in after today will be in a school committee packet to have school committee approval. I have listed out the grants here, what they're used for, and the amount of the award. And this will require a motion.
Now I have a question.
Yes.
Because I'm in the dark and I hope that I'm not asking too many questions, but I need a little explanation on each of them, if you could condense it.
You'd
I
like,
see it printed.
yes.
So the IDEA grant is for,
It's for special education.
See that in board certified behavior.
Okay.
So that's district-wide or,
Yes, it is.
thank you.
It is all schools.
And maybe an explanation of what entitlement grant means. An entitlement grant is one for which the district does not need to compete, right? So these are typically federal funds that flow through the states, and with the proposed changes to the Federal Department of Education, we may well see big changes in how those grants are distributed, whether they are distributed in their current format, how they flow to the states. So an entitlement grant is one where we, simply because we are a district, based on our population and needs, et cetera, we are given an amount of money, and typically it comes to us each year, but may be spent over several years.
Under the criteria that grant sets, we choose where it goes.
There are some, no, for the,
No, please.
For the IDEA grant, it must be used for special education, or maybe some ancillary, but that's very clearly our special education grant. And then the next one, IDEA 262, there's 240 and 262. The second one is for early childhood special education. So for that 240, 262, for instance, we wouldn't be allowed to pay for the salaries of an instructional assistant working at the high school. Is that?
I will do.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm all set.
Okay.
Okay, so I would accept a motion to accept the grants outlined above and to approve spending of the grant funds.
So moved.
Second. Steve Martin, second.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any discussion? Okay. Sharon,
Sharon Fontaine, yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Raina,
Rena Dastu, yes.
Gretchen,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Melissa? Yes. Michelle? Yes. And Melissa, Gary, yes.
Great.
Okay, great, thank you.
And
right.
the grants quarterly report is on the agenda. That will not be addressed this evening.
Okay. Okay, so,
And maybe just the next, I'm looking at
Thank you.
Sharon, I'm looking at her, I see it. The reason why is because we have not kept pace with requirements. The school committee approved a policy in April or May of this year, a change to how the approval process for grants. And after that, we should have been coming to you every month with a monthly report on grants received during that month. I think in the lead up to the summer and then the transition, we fell down on the job on that. So this evening's report is a catch-up report. That's why there are so many grants. But as Taffy said, moving forward, we've adjusted our planning calendar so that every month, if any grant has been received, we'll bring it to you that month. And because we gave you this sort of aggregated, it felt like it would simply be a repeat if we did a quarterly report tonight. That's why we're taking it off. Yeah. Okay.
thank you. Field trip request for PVRS Boston Theater.
Yes, Ms. Tominski is requesting approval. I am in favor of this request, as is Principal Scanlon Amy, to take a small group of students to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child at the Emerson Colonial Theater in Boston.
Awesome. I will accept a motion to approve the field trip on November 23rd to go to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
And the reason we're asking for permission is because of late night travel. Typically, this is in-state, so it doesn't trigger that requirement, but the kids are going to be coming home really late, and the policy does say if there's late night travel, school committee needs to weigh in. Sorry. That's
So
okay.
just to clarify, that's
Yep.
an expense of $203.98?
From their budget, yes.
From the theater budget, yes.
From the theater budget, yep, correct.
I'll make a motion, we approve that.
Okay. Okay,
Second. Stephen Martin, second.
okay. Okay, Sharon,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Raina,
Yes.
Gretchen.
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Melissa. Yes. Michelle. Yes. Melissa, Gary, yes. Okay, thank
Thank you.
you. HCGIT update.
Sure.
So I'm sure you've heard a bunch about the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust and the budget. Most of the budget transfers you just approved, as I said, were for the increase. So just to recap, we had a 18 to 20% increase July 1st, and then another 20% increase in insurance premiums on the 1st of October. We have been looking at the possibility of switching our insurance. We've been looking at the GIC as well as MIIA. And part of the problem was that the GIC deadline was December 1st, and that was really, really tight for us to get everything done that we needed to get done and to inform employees of what are the options. The state has allowed an extension, so we have until January 5th as a deadline to move forward. You want to talk about what we're going to be doing?
Yes. So as we've talked about at this table before, maybe in 2017 or 18, the school committee approved Chapter 32B, Sections 21 through 23, which allows the district to move to the Group Insurance Commission, GIC, without engaging in a full collective bargaining process. I'd like to give recognition to our union leadership, once again, from both the PVREA and the PVASP for being really collaborative partners as we sort through the mess that is the insurance increase and how we manage it. Taffy, I'm going to give a quick update on the meeting we attended this week of the HCGIT. That's the group we currently buy insurance through. The executive director retired effective about a week and a half ago. They are looking to hire an external consultant to help them get things into shape. Michelle Giruso, Michelle, I think you were on that meeting call this week also, am I correct? Yeah.
I was.
So I'll be interested in if you're willing to share. I came away, unfortunately, once again, underwhelmed with the management of that meeting. To my mind, and Taffy, I think we agree, underprepared, under-documented, not the kind of crisp professional performance one would want to see from an organization that is in distress and needs to figure things out quickly. So we've noted this over several meetings. So we had recently just notified school committee saying, but we're not going to make the December 1 deadline. And the union's like, we can't. So this extension to January 5 is the result of the hard work of many people, including local electeds, such as Lindsay Sabadosa, Senator Joe Comerford, Representative Susanna Whips, Representative Natalie Blais. All kinds of electeds have been working hard with the governor's office and the lieutenant governor to make this possible. So what will happen next? We emailed our union colleagues today about this. We need to hold something called an IAC, Insurance Advisory Committee meeting, and then we need to hold something called a Public Employee Committee meeting in which we say, the district says, hey, if we go to the GIC, here's what the differences would be in costs. Here's if there were to be savings under the law, the district would need to give 25% of those savings to the collective bargaining units, and the only thing that is negotiated, because the committee has passed Chapter 32B, would be how that 25% savings is distributed. It is highly unlikely that there are savings. The GIC does not, I'm sorry everybody, the GIC does not provide low-cost plans. Maybe there will be. Taffy and I are working on the numbers, we're crunching, and am I right, I saw in Bernardston notes, Bernardston might be making the move as well. Yeah, okay. And Michelle Leiden is making the move?
Yes.
Okay. And I don't know where Northfield stands right now. So there need to be some meetings. We sent our union colleagues tentative dates for those. And then, even though there's an extension to the deadline, we would need to seek an MOA with the unions to say that traditional 30-day window to sort things out, everyone's willing to dispense with that. Union leadership has asked some excellent questions about what exactly does that mean. We're getting answers in writing from our attorney. So here's what I am thinking. We don't need to seek any approvals from school committee right now, because when you voted in 2017 or 18 to approve 32B, that was the big vote. Our administrative goal right now is to put everybody in a position about a month from now to say, yep, we want to do it, or nope, we don't want to do it. We have to send the GIC a letter by December 1 saying we intend to switch, but that's no longer binding because they've done the extension to the 5th, and there are a number of statutory steps that need to be taken after sending that letter. So our goal is to keep marching forward as though everybody wants to go to the GIC, but that final decision won't be made for about a month. And Taffy and I are going to start pumping out information to employees. We'll be sending out the GIC benefits guides. We'll make it very clear. Everybody needs to contact their healthcare providers and check. These are my options under the GIC for insurance plans. Do you accept this plan? Do you accept this plan? Do you accept this plan? Do you accept that plan? So those are the steps that will need to be taken. What am I forgetting?
I just want to make it clear that the main reason why we're looking to switch is not because health insurance premiums have gone up so much, because everybody's premiums have gone up. It's really the state of the trust is not doing well, and we've heard enough about it probably, if I can say, not being solvent possibly by the end of the fiscal year. So we really need to protect our employees.
Yes.
Thank you for working on that, and thank you to our towns as well for working on that, because that was really a blind side that we can see clearly reflected in the budget. And I can't imagine going into another year and having that same scenario and having the alternate be the threat that we're not insured. That was something that really needed handling, and I appreciate that.
No, so I just want to be clear on so that if we move forward, it would be starting July 1?
Yes.
Would be the new plan. We would remain with HCGIT plans through the end of the fiscal year.
Yes.
Yes.
I think if I could just add my thanks and true appreciation for helping everyone in the community weather this and thoughtfully. Just given what you mentioned, Taffy, and in terms of overall concerns about the trust in general, it seems like all the momentum is going to switching, because I can't imagine the trust is going to suddenly become a platinum example of management in the course of a month. So am I interpreting that correctly? Or
That is our decision and our momentum thus far.
Sure.
I have observed that there were a number of member units. There are 73 what are called member units in the HCGIT, and they are some regional districts, Voc Tech districts, towns, and then organizations like the FERCOG or Springfield Water Sewer. It seemed early on in the crisis that there were a number of folks gearing up to explore alternatives and move. My impression is that the December 1 deadline was so challenging for many organizations that they stopped. They felt like we can't make it, it's too soon. And hence our gratitude to elected officials for advocating successfully with the governor's office. We don't know, other than, Bernardston and Leiden are leaving. Taffy asked the HCGIT the other day how many groups have left, and they said no one has left yet. My guess is they are going to be getting a number of letters in the next week as folks face the December 1 deadline. There's another piece of this puzzle, and that is that the size of each of the 73 member units varies greatly. So Leiden has maybe, Michelle, 3 people?
Yes.
Okay. And then you've got someone like, who is it, Southampton, East Hampton, Belchertown? South Hadley, hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of members. So there's a lot of talk about the big 3. If the big 3, which are the largest entities in the HCGIT, if they choose to leave, things become even more tenuous.
Oh, sure.
If we leave, we're just over 100 100 plans. What do you call it? People? Subscribers? Thank you. But someone like South Hadley, then that's
Agreed, but I don't mean
No,
to
go
belabor the point, but it seems like from the call that you just mentioned and other data, that your concern was more about the administration of the plan itself,
Yes.
not who's a member.
yes.
And what I was just commenting on is that that's not likely to become
No.
magically better.
No.
So I just wanted to make sure I
Yes,
understood
and
that. So I'm really
yes.
grateful. Thank you
Yep,
very much.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. That's
More
the
to come.
update. More to
Thank
come.
you.
All right,
More to
thank you.
come.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So next on the agenda is
Oh, I'm gonna go to.
our, the what?
The screen turned off, sorry.
Okay, our response to the citizens' comments from last month. Patricia has put together a slideshow outlining all the steps that the district took before and after the comments, so that we have a very clear understanding of the action that we took in response to the concerns that were addressed.
Thank you. And let me get myself set up here. Okay, this is not one of the pretty slideshows. Tyler, if I would imagine that some of the families who came to the last meeting and shared comments might be watching. I want to make sure that I'm looking, am I looking right at the camera ahead of me? Is that what's? That's the one that will be on. Okay, all right. Thank you. And I'm going to close my, this is so important. Let me just get myself. Okay. So, last month at this meeting, we were joined by some brave family members from Northfield Elementary School. Their kids used to attend Northfield Elementary School. They've made the hard decision to have their children educated elsewhere. They shared their public comments. They shared their public comments thoughtfully, and it was a really powerful statement from those families. And we want you, families, to know that we heard you. I want to make clear that there were 4 families represented, and I had met previously with 3 of those families. So the concerns shared were not new to us. They were concerns that many of us had been working on for some time. So I want to include myself in the team that has heard and perhaps disappointed some of our valued community members. So what are our guiding principles for our response? We quickly determined that we want to listen with radical empathy to the concerns shared by families. And what do I mean by that? For me, that means even when it is hard, we will listen. We will not be defensive. We will care, right? We will lead with our hearts, and we will want to stay in connection. However much families do or don't want to remain, our goal is to, even when those families are not here, stay in connection with the concerns that they have shared. And we will refrain, obviously, from speaking negatively about anyone. That doesn't help, whether it's our colleagues who are with us still in the building or someone who has left. And lastly, that we are going to explore what was shared with bravery, which is necessary in order to be unflinchingly honest, right? More than we typically are. So those were our guiding principles, and I believe that thus far we have done a nice job sticking to those principles in this difficult work. I'm going to give some factual information to set the context. The district makes available on its website and the website of each of the schools required information. We have an anti-bullying policy. We have what is called a bullying prevention and intervention plan. The acronym is BPIP, B-P-I-P. And during the state's civil rights audit, as it were, last year, one of the documents they reviewed was our BPIP. So that was reviewed just last year by the state, and in May of this spring, school committee, you approved some minor changes to the BPIP. So the overall message from the state was your BPIP meets legal requirements. There were some very minor changes. I think it was including the word cyber with bullying in a few places. You approved those changes in the spring. So our BPIP is actually in okay shape. We have online an incident and bullying reporting form. We also have, we don't put online our incident investigation form. That's an administrative tool. But both of those documents have been updated within the past year to make them more accurate and easier for people to use. In the case of the reporting form, we hope that it is easier for people to use when reporting concerning incidents. And in the investigation form, we've tried to make it easier for admin to use in a way that meets all legal requirements. And then lastly, in terms of the reporting form, we are going to look at using an online reporting form as one of the options. And I'm going to show you a sample. It's from Frontier. A number of districts use it. So instead of having to go and get a paper form or click and print it out, there are a few different versions of this around, but I think we'll take a look, and my guess is that we will move forward with something like this so that having access to a paper copy is not a barrier for anybody. So that is simply to give you an understanding of some of the key documents that we need to have available to the public, and they are available to the public. This is background before we get to actions that have been taken. A year ago, we asked Attorney Kim Roach from the Dupree Law Offices to do a seminar with the administrative team on student safety plans. And that was so that we could improve our practice in that area. This June, Attorney Roach came back for a seminar on bullying, and I've actually provided you here with a link to the slides. They're not terribly interesting, but they cover what is important in terms of law and regulation. The definition of bullying can be surprising to people. There are specific behaviors described in the law, and the threshold in some ways for what can be categorized as bullying is quite low. It doesn't take 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 incidents. It doesn't have to be necessarily a pattern or what people traditionally think of as a pattern. 2 occurrences of a certain type of behavior in a certain context could, in the end, be determined to be bullying, right? There is a fair amount of knowledge of regulation required to manage bullying in investigations and determinations accurately. So it's hard, that doesn't, and we have to do it well, right? So we asked Attorney Roach to come back and give us a refresher on what is required. All right, I'm going to jump to NES now because there were some questions raised about staffing in the building. So right now, and on the left-hand side are positions that where the people work exclusively at NES, and on the right-hand side are staff who work across more than one building. So at NES, we have a full-time school adjustment counselor, and that's a licensed clinician. There is another school adjustment counselor in the audience nodding her head from BES. We have a full-time elementary behaviorist. That's a new position, new a couple of years ago. Both BES and NES have a full-time behaviorist. We have a math interventionist. We have a full-time person at both BES and NES. We have a reading specialist. I'm hoping at some point we make the names the same because they do the same thing in math and reading. It would be easier if we just said interventionist for both or specialist for both. But we have a full-time person, and that is a non-special education position. In terms of special education, we have 3 full-time special educators at NES, and the student population is this month, I think, 121, maybe.
Yes.
121. So please keep in mind, we're talking for 121 students, this many staff. We have 8 classroom teachers. That's from pre-K through 6. Right now we have 1 section per grade. We have a full-time school nurse, and the NES school nurse is also the district nurse leader. And we have a full-time speech and language pathologist at NES. And currently, as of today, we have 9 instructional assistants at NES. Starting December 1, we will have another. So there will be 10 instructional assistants for 121 students. In terms of staff who are spread across buildings, there is an elementary school psychologist who works at both NES and BES. 4 years ago, we had 1 school psychologist for the whole district. We have doubled staffing for school psychologists. And those staff primarily do testing they do less ongoing counseling work with students. That happens with school adjustment counselors, and in this building, with our school counselors. We have 4 specialist teachers, and those are our music people, music, band, chorus, visual art, library, physical education. We have 1 occupational therapist who works across all 3 buildings. We have a physical therapist who is .5 who works in all 3 buildings. And we have a BCBA, again, that is a board-certified behavior analyst. That is a new position, full-time. We had one last year for the first time, and that person is spread across the district. I take the time to share this so that people get a sense of the number of staff available in a building of 121 students. Of the instructional assistants at NES, 3 of them are what we would call classroom IAs, meaning they are not there specifically for special education purposes. There are 6 IAs who are there for special education purposes. There were concerns expressed in the public comments that we have been cutting support staff. We have not cut any of the faculty level support staff at BES or NES or Pioneer. There have been cuts to instructional assistant positions, and we have talked about this. No, I'm sorry, there's one I do need to talk, sorry, for some of our related service providers last year, we reviewed caseloads, and there was one instance in which a full-time related service provider actually had on their caseload 7 hours and 5 minutes of legally required services per week. So for a 35-hour work week, there were 7 hours and 5 minutes of services needed, and we determined that we could not in good conscience continue with a full-time position, and so that was reduced to a half-time position. Similarly, for another related service position, there were 1.5. We staffed at 1.5 FTEs, and in that position we needed, I think, 25 hours or so, 26 hours of services, but we were staffing at 35, 45, 52 hours or so, and so we cut that down to a 1.0. We have cut some special education instructional assistant positions, and that is after careful review of what student IEPs actually require the district to provide. As we have talked about before, the provision of a one-on-one instructional assistant in an IEP is what is considered a highly restrictive environment for students. It seems counterintuitive, but that is what the law says. And there are many, and I am among them, who believe sometimes what can happen when a student is assigned a one-on-one IA is if we are not super careful about saying, what are the skills the student has to learn? What is the plan for helping the student learn those skills? And what is our plan for reducing dependence on that adult? We can end up with a student who has that intervention for too long. The district has reduced the number of IAs, and we've talked about this several times at the table. So all of this is in relation to the concern that we have not been providing sufficient support. When I look at those numbers and I consider my experience in a range of other districts, including Boston, Brookline, Canton, Lincoln, Brookline, and Lincoln being high wealth districts, the level of support provided at NES today is actually higher than what is provided in a place like Canton, Lincoln, or Brookline. So I'm not judging what the parents said. I'm providing you information about our staffing. There was some concern expressed about state, complaints to the state. This came in from somebody else afterwards. So the DESE has an office called the Problem Resolution System. It's referred to as PRS. I've given you a link, and this will be in the packet, a link to the PRS page. It is an important office that families can go to when they feel that their grievances have not been addressed successfully at the school or district level. It's a really important service that the state provides. In the past 2 years, there have been 2 they're called PRS tickets, have been filed in relation to NES. The first one alleged that the district had not met its obligations at NES related to special education eligibility for a student, and the state found that we had met our obligations. There was a second PRS complaint filed, and that was about an allegation that we had not met our obligations at NES related to 504 plans, bullying, and student records. That was filed this spring, and the state has not yet responded. I checked in with them several weeks ago. So we are waiting to hear from the state. Keep going?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. What have we done? The families came and shared concerns a month ago. The very next morning, we held an emergency all-staff meeting before school at NES. I led that meeting, and the purpose was to make sure that everyone was aware of the concerns. We provided a copy of the public comments, and we tried to set the stage for how we would address this, sharing the guiding principles that I shared earlier. That same afternoon, Principal Schreiber continued with a voluntary after-school meeting for anyone who wanted to come to share their initial responses. This hit many staff members hard, right? Because they care about children, they care about these families, and it pained them to observe the anguish that these families were bringing forward. Principal Schreiber that day notified her school council about the concerns. She shared the public comments, and she indicated that the next week's school council meeting would be focused on this. And that same day, Principal Schreiber reached out to the signatories on the public comment letter who were still enrolled, whose kids were still enrolled at NES, and invited them to engage with her in the format they wanted, if they wanted, about any concerns they had. Now, I've given you some links, so when you're home, you can check things out. The NES School Council met and began discussing the concerns. There are minutes there. My team, the administrative team, held our meeting the next Wednesday, at NES, and I'm going to show you the charts. Our job there, we felt, was to help set Principal Schreiber and her faculty and staff up for success in digging into the concerns even further. So what did we do? We did a careful reading in pairs of the written public comments. And we pulled out 4 major themes, 4 subheadings. The first was the topic of IEPs, 504s, safety plans, that kind of technical area. Oh, thank you so much. The second was a set of concerns regarding curriculum and instruction and school atmosphere. And the third, we called, it was a quote, parent advocacy is exhausting. Right? There was a lot about that. And the last subheading was bullying is persistent. That was an allegation, a claim. Our job was not in that meeting to determine whether we thought anything was true. That's not our job. Right? People came with their experience and their truth. Our job was to help Principal Schreiber and her team be set up to successfully explore the concerns further. So we asked several questions. In these categories, what are the very specific claims being cited? And then, what would be evidence that would indicate to us whether this claim looks like it is indicative of a pattern or systemic issue at NES? Okay. I'm going to go to one that's a little easier to read. So, I can't make it bigger, I'm sorry. I'll read you just a little bit. So this is the curriculum and atmosphere chart. And so some of the claims directly from the public comments were teaching to the test, almost no social studies or science. Work is done via worksheets. There's a weak curriculum. Now, what might be evidence as we investigate this that we would want to look for? Well, if we had a widespread practice of focusing on disconnected skills, that would be evidence that we're teaching. Could be we're teaching to the test, that that we don't have a rich and engaging curriculum. How many minutes per week are dedicated to social studies and science? If we have that information, that would give us evidence of whether or not we're teaching science and social studies. Is there evidence of project work? Is key curriculum considered high quality instructional materials? Do current curriculum meet grade level standards, et cetera? So we went through all 4, and Principal Schreiber was able to walk away with this set of documents that helped her in subsequent conversations. So the parents, the family, sorry, I need to say families. It wasn't just parents. Families came on October 16th. About 2 weeks later, there was a staff meeting, and this was both faculty and instructional assistants. And I'm sharing with you the agenda. We're here today because we all share the same goal, creating a safe, inclusive, and caring environment for every child. Recent feedback from families gives us an opportunity to reflect, strengthen, and make visible all that we do to build a positive school culture. So there's multiple strands here, right? There's digging into what's going on with curriculum and instruction, what is going on with the school environment. And so they did a word cloud, and then they did a lot of work around what does a positive school culture actually look and feel like, describing that, and then considering that's what we think it would look like. What evidence do we have that that is what our school culture is like? There was another staff meeting the following week. They did a great reading from, I think, Responsive Classroom on gateway behaviors, what to do when mean acts emerge, about bullying. I want to show you more of our PD day. So our PD day, no school, the Monday, a week ago Monday? 2 weeks ago Monday? In the morning, everybody was here with Jetta Bernier of Enough Abuse, and then folks went back to their buildings, and NES dedicated its afternoon to this work. And so this is a planning agenda. I'd like to thank Zevi Steinitz for really helping Chrissy Schreiber work carefully to plan that time so it would be as productive as possible. So, and everybody will be able to link on this in the packets tomorrow. That's a planning agenda. And then there are some slides that give a sense of what people are doing. So their objectives are to recognize and strengthen existing systems, plan for communication and action. We think that we've fallen down on the job with some communication to families in a number of ways. And then some of the outcomes were have an understanding of the bullying prevention and intervention plan. We need to do an even better job of making sure that all staff are aware of what that important document says. Brainstorm and share our current practices for preventing bullying and supporting social emotional learning, and identify needed resources and routines, and identify growth areas. So all of this, I hope you're seeing, is we're tackling it, and we're trying to do it without blame and without shame, because that will get in the way of making effective changes. So one thing that we identified, or that NES identified, is while the school adjustment counselor has been going into classrooms teaching from the second step anti-bullying curriculum, we needed to buy more of that curriculum. So we have purchased the full second step anti-bullying curriculum for K through 5 for both buildings. There's another piece of curriculum that we are buying, and I'm blanking on it right now. So, what is my sense of where we are right now? I would want the families who came forward bravely a month ago to know that the school committee listened, and I've been in communication with the chair throughout the past month, updating her on what's been happening. Not only did school committee listen, but administration listened, teachers listened, instructional assistants listened. I see zero evidence of people trying to dismiss or diminish the concerns brought forward by the families. I see no evidence that people are trying to diminish or dismiss. Instead, I do see evidence that folks are having needed conversations about technically where do we need to get better. We've made some technical errors. And what is happening in terms of school culture that we can improve on. There are some thorny, and I know I'm going on for a long time, there are some thorny issues. I'm going to name one that might be hard for people to hear. There are times when students have conflict where bullying is not taking place. And sometimes I have observed, and I'm not alone, that our students can report something to their parents and guardians that is different from what multiple observers in school are seeing. And that becomes a challenge. I'm not saying that is what happened, but when we talk globally about managing all of this, that's something we have to tackle. We need to do more family education about what bullying is under the law and what peer conflict is, because sometimes kids have problems with each other at every age, and it's not bullying. We need to do better on that area. So I think at this point I I would love to hear what your questions are and your thoughts are and what feedback you have for the administrative team.
Thank you. Okay, I will open it up to school committee. Do we have any comments, questions, discussion? Melissa, you're on mute, just so you know, if you want to talk.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Are there, can you turn the camera? Are there a bunch of the families here tonight or
No,
No.
there's no.
No, okay. Well, thank you so much, Patricia. I just really commend everything that you all have done. And I guess if there were people sitting there tonight, I was hoping, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person, just to kind of share, my kids go to Northfield, and, as a Northfield parent, you'd hear concerns come up, and I just have to say, my perspective since being on school committee has completely shifted from what I thought, but prior to being on school committee. And I'm just so impressed by the transparency that you always have. Like, anyone who comes with a concern, Patricia, you are extremely supportive. And the school committee works very hard. And I think one of the issues that I've discovered since being on school committee is a lot of the issues that parents may have are things that school committee can't necessarily change, because a lot of the issues that parents have are Massachusetts state general laws, and around bullying or simple things, dress code, certain books in the library. There are certain things that as a state, your hands are tied as a superintendent and as a school committee, and that's just the way it is. And so if people have certain issues, like bullying isn't, particularly around discipline, it's not like it was when we were kids. There are very specific rules for how children can be disciplined. Everything is how bullying has to, be handled. And I just, I've noticed in my own research, when I come up with something that I might disagree with, or not even disagree with, but have a different perspective of until I do the research, I often find that there's only so much that people can do outside of the state level if you have certain concerns. And so I would just encourage the family members to really give faith, that the school is doing everything they can. I've never seen I'm part of the strategic planning meetings that we've been having, and I was so impressed. And you all had planned those far in advance from these concerns coming out. And a lot of the things that you guys are talking about in those strategic planning meetings, I'm just blown away at the transparency and willingness that you have to improve something that's already really good. The district is incredible right now, and it's just a perpetual process of improvement. And so I would really encourage those family members to really look at that side of things, because no matter where you go, no matter what public school you're in, things there's always something that, from an outside perspective, unless you really understand what's going on. Anyway, I just thank you so much for taking it so seriously, because when they came, I felt like, I just think you just did such a great job.
Thank you.
Sorry for rambling, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stephanie?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank the families and parents that came and spoke, because the structure of our meetings are that, when you speak in public comment, and then we move forward with the agenda. And my concern was, did they feel heard? And I have such a sense of appreciation for what was done in response to this really outpouring of opinion by our community, specifically about one of our elementary schools. And I think you did an excellent job. And I say that to everyone involved, because that is how we will move forward as a competent district. And that is what you're teaching these children. Even though things may not be perfect or there might be some flaws, when adults stand up and have meaningful conversations that create change, it is incredibly important, and that is what we're asking of them when they have problems or conflicts or concerns. We're asking them to do the same. So I'm very proud to be on this committee, and I appreciate everything you've all done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sharon?
Thank you, Ms. Casella, for handling this so well, so open and so warm and so accepting, and looking into all the points that you felt were important for the parents, the students, the staff. My question is there anything that we can offer the parents as far as any kind of education to help them decipher what would be conflict resolution
Yeah.
and what would be bullying?
What a great question. So we had 1 day of summer retreat in June and then 2 days in early August. And we spent those 2 days at the CES offices in Northampton. It was really fun. They let us use it for free. And we had one session. We spent close to the whole afternoon letting ourselves imagine a great family education program for the year, because we feel like we're still coming out of COVID, right? And some of the little ones grew up with a really different social situation from the kids who were older, et cetera. And it was so exciting to be with this wonderful administrative team that had idea after idea. How can we find out what families need? And these folks have really, they're professionals. They had clear ideas. Like, it would be great to do some family education around the impact of screens on the younger kids, on adolescents. Routines at home. How can we help kids with executive functioning at home so that it helps them in school? All these ideas, and the notion of behavior, and what is peer conflict? How do we help kids with conflict? How can we use the same language at home that and not like we're all experts, but you all are. You spend your days with little kids working, and you do PD year after year, and you've got degrees, and you all have a lot to say and share. And so we've got this opioid grant money, and what we'd love to do is hire someone who could run a family education outreach engagement series throughout the district. And one of our problems so far has been capacity, right? Like, someone needs to hire someone because none of us has the energy. Maybe we should put it out and see if there's a small group of teachers or IAs that wants to run it. But we know that we want to run some family education. I think it's fair to say education stuff. Oh, how about boundaries and responding to adult directives, right? Like, sometimes some of us see an awful lot of negotiation with little kids. And in my mind, and I'm looking at the teacher, like when a teacher says in a second grade classroom, please go sit on the rug, the teacher should not need to say, would you like to go sit on the rug? No, go sit on the rug. Mm-hmm. And then the child should go and sit on the rug, and that's the end of the conversation. And right? Former kindergarten teacher, when you can have 23 happy 5-year-olds, right? Maneuver in a classroom, it's because one is effective with language and clear about expectations and you don't tolerate nonsense. And I think we've gotten to this point where sometimes maybe there's some confusion in families about kindness and giving choice and what is helpful for kids. So, long-winded answer. Yes, we need to do some family education. We know it. We've got some ideas, but we got to make it happen.
Stephen?
Thank you very much for this presentation, for the spirit of it, and for the spirit of the families who were here last month and have been being their children's advocate and will be the rest of their lives in some ways, right? Like we all will. I was struck, and being a former teacher myself, that the characteristics of teaching involve working with an immature set of people in groups that's compulsory. And those three things together are very unusual and make education and a public education especially meaningful, but also not without difficulty. And what I just wanted, the strands that I was very grateful to hear from the families and from us and our staff and leadership are good faith, a sense of intensity, and it's appropriate to the situation. And as you mentioned, sort of radical listening and empathy. And those will carry us all pretty far, no matter whether we're in elementary school or 56 years old like myself, I hope. But the good faith part with families throughout the district, to me, is such an important value that you've upheld here, and that I'm grateful to everyone in our communities who carries that banner.
Anything else?
I don't have anything new to add, but I just want to say thanks for addressing this, for taking the concern seriously, and I think the radical empathy, I think, is such an important approach, and it's not about are the complaints real or valid, or did that really happen? It's about this was the experience of these families, and how can we do better? I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Good. Okay. All right. We can move on to the enrollment update.
Okey-dokey. I think we're the exact same
Yeah,
numbers
it's
last
the
month.
exact same number. Exact same number.
Oh, wait. Do you want to say MSBA enrollment?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. She said no.
Sounds like something we all needed to hear.
Oh, you will. Soon enough. Soon enough.
She's yeah.
It'd be funny.
Yeah, so enrollment is exactly the same from last year, or from last month, excuse me. Okay. And then the next is personnel update.
Yeah. So, multiple eyes look at these documents multiple times throughout the month, and we realized, I think Jen told me, we had the custodian position that was open, listed at BES for like 3 months, and none of us picked it up. It was a position at NES, so my apologies to that valued former employee. Hey, exciting news. Hey, we've got a grade 6 teacher for BES.
We do?
We do.
Oh.
And I know his name. Sam Cater. Sam Cater. Thank you so
Oh.
much.
Sam Peter.
Cater?
Cater.
Cater. It's K, long A. Yeah. NMH teacher, longtime educator, super longtime educator. He's coming to BES. Thank you, Sam. We're so excited to have you. Thank you. That's a hard one to fill, right? Middle of the fall. Challenging. Yeah, we've done a bunch. Hey, Bridget Hammond is coming back. She's back. Bridget Hammond, for folks who don't know, was the NES school administrative assistant for maybe 15 years. Bridget's back up here at Pioneer. I'm just thrilled. Joanna Singh has gone from working in food services to being an instructional assistant. Exciting news. That's our personnel update. There's another personnel item, and that relates to Ms. Bassett Fox, our Director of Finance and Operations. I'll walk through it. This is a disclosure form in front of you. Ms. Bassett Fox's ex-husband, this information is in, 20 years ex-husband, applied for a position as a custodian. And because Taffy sought appropriately guidance from the State Ethics Commission, they indicated that she needed to complete this disclosure form. School committee, you do not need to vote on anything. There's a box on this version of it that wasn't checked. Yeah, she needed to check the X to confirm the statement below. Yes. Everybody put an X on the box on the back that says, I confirm the state. Taffy brought me a new one today. So that will go in the packet. But on the back, you can see, I'm reading on the back here, for people who are not elected to your public position, and that would be Ms. Bassett Fox, She files with her appointing authority. You are her appointing authority. She is, by presenting it at this meeting, she has filed it with you. School committee, you do not need to take any action.
Thank you.
Any questions about that one?
Nope.
All right.
All right, so executive session time. So I will entertain a motion to go into executive session, Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with the Teachers Association and support personnel, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body and the chair so declares, and to return to open session. Also, MGL Chapter 30A, Section 22, FG, approval of minutes from September 11th, 2025 and October 16th, 2025. We are welcoming in Claire, Renee, Patricia, and Taffy, and then we will come back out to return to open session.
Stephanie Arroyo, so moved.
Second, Sharon Fontaine.
Perfect. Okay, and then we need to take a roll call vote to go into executive session. So Sharon?
Fontaine, yes.
Stephanie Arroyo, yes.
Raina Dastu, yes?
Gretchen Kelton, yes.
Stephen Martin, yes.
Michelle Jeruso, yes?
And Melissa, yes. Melissa Osborne has left the meeting. Okay, all right, we will go to executive session.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, and we are back. So we have some MOAs to review and vote on. So for the first MOA with the PVASP and PVREA NES Culture Committee, I will start with Sharon. Vote.
For which one?
For the NES Culture Committee.
Yeah, so we need a motion.
We need a,
Do we need a motion to approve?
yep, so, okay. So I'm seeking to get a motion for to approve the MOA with the PVASP and PVREA for the NES Culture Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Perfect. Now the vote. Thank you.
Sharon Fontaine, yes.
Stephanie Arroyo, yes.
Raina Dastu, yes.
Gretchen Kelton, yes.
Stephen Martin, yes.
Michelle Caruso, yes.
Melissa Gary, yes. Okay, I will entertain a motion for the MOA between the PVREA and the PVASP for the PVRS Restorative Practices Team 2025 to 2026.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, Sharon,
yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Raina, yes.
Yes.
Stephen
Gretchen.
Martin, yes.
Michelle Caruso, yes.
and Melissa Gary, yes. I will entertain a motion for the MOA PVREA unpaid leave for Lauren Clary.
So
So-
moved.
Second,
Okay, Sharon,
Do we?
Yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Raina,
Yes.
Gretchen,
Yes.
Stephen,
yes.
Yes.
Michelle, and Melissa, yes. I will entertain a motion for the MOA for the PVREA unpaid leave for Rory Flynn.
So moved.
Second.
Sharon,
No.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Raina,
No.
Gretchen,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Melissa, yes. Okay, and with that, we also would like to make a statement that unwavering support is provided to administration. They have taken all the right steps in bringing this MOA in front of us. So we want to make very clear that we will abide by the MOA presented and our support that all the steps had been taken appropriately and in the right fashion. We're done. Thank you. Okay, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Or, nope, we have other business not anticipated by the chair. Any other business for the night? Okay. Upcoming meetings, budget subcommittee meeting is November 24th at 6 p.m. We have a second budget subcommittee meeting December 9th at 6 p.m. We have a school committee meeting December 11th at 6 p.m. and a strategic planning committee meeting December 16th at 5:30. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, and we just have to do a roll call for Michelle. So Sharon,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Raina,
Yes.
Gretchen,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Michelle, yes, and Melissa, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Night.